This is Pamela Kuhn, and the curtain is up on Center Stage, the show about the arts and the artists behind their work. I'm so excited about my guest today. Not only is he a great singer and actor, but we actually share the same alma mater. Charl Brown is talented. He is a singer, dancer, actor, and all-round good guy. He gave a fabulous and Tony-nominated performance as Smokey Robinson in Motown, the musical, on Broadway. Sister Act, Jersey Boys, Ragtime, these are all shows that have had the grace of Charl Brown's big talent. And he knows how to keep his fans happy with a rare communicative power that is fueled by his love of being on stage. The San Diego born and bred Charl Brown attended USC's School of Dramatic Arts, and that's where he and I share some love. Since then, he has performed all over the country, around the world, and in London's West End. But now Charl Brown is on a new journey, that of Doo Wop. Born with his fellow actors from Jersey Boys, he is now on tour with the Doo Wop Project. How fun is this? I'm in, and I'm just an opera singer. Charl Brown, welcome to Center Stage. I anticipate hijinks and a lot of fun in this interview today.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much for having me. And before we get started, I have to say, fight on, USC, fight on, Trojans.
Oh my gosh, I know. It's a great school, isn't it?
It really is a great school. I'm really very proud to have gone there. I'm a very proud alumni.
I think that's so great that you tout that because so many people don't, they want to talk about New York Tisch or nothing,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, at USC, as you probably remember, they embed that in you from the day one you get there. There's the marching band when you are welcome to school, and it's all about school spirit and pride. So I think it's part of the education.
Oh, and how.
Yeah.
But, I was just so disappointed when I got there and realized it wasn't in Westwood. It was
Oh,
actually in downtown.
yeah,
You,
South Central LA to be exact. Which, they've built up a lot around there even since I've graduated, but I'm sure when you were there and when I was there as well, it wasn't the safest neighborhood to say the least.
no, it wasn't. It was a little,
No.
it was a little interesting, shall we say?
Yes, a culture shock for a lot of the students there, I would imagine.
I'm so glad to know that about you. I love admitting that I adore Los Angeles and California, and I know you are a California boy.
Yeah.
What was it like growing up in San Diego? I mean, what a
I
great
didn't know
city.
how good I had it. I was naive to not understand that the rest of the country didn't get 80-degree weather all the time and could wear t-shirts on
Yep.
Christmas. Now when I go home for the holidays, I'm really spoiled. I literally get into my family's pool. My cousins have a pool that I get into sometimes on Christmas Day, and I just thought that was normal. And it wasn't until I got through my first winter in New York City that I really came to start to understand and appreciate where I actually came from. So I think a lot of us are happier there. I think people say Californians have this natural happiness about them. I think it definitely relates to the weather.
There's no question about it. I was
Hmm.
just out in California and I didn't want to leave. I was like kicking and screaming not to get on the plane to come back east to the falling leaves. But, hey, that's another story.
That's
That's
another
another
story.
interview.
Yeah, every time I'm there, I'm like, why did I leave this magical, beautiful place again? But, there's only one
Exactly.
Broadway. There's only one city with Broadway, so there you go.
That's right. So listen, that brings me to my obvious question here. Who are you? I mean, were you this guy that just popped out just wanting to sing and dance and knew what he wanted on stage?
Well, yes and no. Mostly yes. I did pop out singing and dancing. I think, from a very early age, my mother and father and my grandmother especially, they noticed my musical talent, and so they put me into the church choir in San Diego, Linda Vista
Excellent.
Second Baptist Church. So I,
Yes.
started singing at around 5 years old in the kids choir, and then eventually I moved on to the young adult choir.
Love that.
So, music has always been a big part of not only my life, but also my whole family. My family plays music at all times in the car and wherever we are. So I think that's where I got that. And then dancing just came naturally to me. I grew up in a very big community. I have a really big family. And so we've gone to a lot of events and functions and where I saw my parents dancing together and on the dance floor. And so I think that I picked all that up instinctively. And
Love it.
so when I finally got into the San Diego School of Creative and Performing Arts in the eighth grade, it was just a natural fit for me. And that's when I really found my community and my people, I like to say.
Wow, wow. I love it when we find our people early on.
I can remember it like it was yesterday. I was in the parking lot at school and I was like, this is where I belong.
Mhm.
On the first day of school, I was like, these are my people. I just knew it
Oh,
uh, right away. And
oh,
so
that's so beautiful.
I tell people that's where I got bit by the bug and I'm still suffering the symptoms.
Love it, love it. May that last long,
Yeah.
long time from now, and I'm sure it will.
Yeah.
So tell me this, I read somewhere that your family were like really athletically kind of gifted.
Oh yeah, I'm the only theater person, entertainer in my family. My father was a high school and college football star. Both of my brothers were high school and college football stars. All of my uncles were high school and college football stars. And so it was natural that they thought I would go into sports. But the
Hmm.
first day of my football practice, I quit because they had me run a mile. And so I became my dad's assistant coach on his football team. He was a high school football coach. He just retired this season actually. So he's been coaching my whole life. So, I really am the one who introduced my family to the theater. But that with that said, now they are thespians. They've been to so many shows and my dad has notes and critiques and things
Oh
like
my
that.
gosh. I
Because they've
love
seen so
that.
much theater now, yeah. So I'm the lone wolf in the family when it comes to that.
I love that they admit it. That's so great. They must be so proud. They must be so proud.
They are, and I'm really appreciative that I've had their support all these years without question. It's been great.
So tell me, because we share this USC connection, and I know what I got out of it there. What was the thing? What was that amazing centerpiece of what you gained from USC, in the dramatic arts?
What I gained from the USC School of Dramatic Arts was actually my acting chops.
Yeah.
Growing up with such musical talent and ability and dance talent and ability, that not only came naturally to me, but also I got some great training in music and in dance at the San Diego School of Creative and Performing Arts. So when I
Mhm.
went to college, I intentionally wanted to focus on acting, and I wanted to choose a good acting program. And I'm glad that I chose USC because it really did instill in me what now is a major part of my craft, which is my acting talent and my acting training. I did my first, non-musical plays there. I learned about the whole world of non-musical plays at USC because I had to study them there. And so I think that's the biggest thing I got out of it was to really hone in on that final piece of what I like to call myself, which is a triple threat.
The triple threat. I love
Triple
it.
threat.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, you are dangerous, Charl. You are
Yeah.
dangerous. So I mean, you grew up singing in the choir, but did
Mhm.
you always consider yourself a singer?
Yeah, I've always considered myself a singer. I think
Hmm.
I consider myself a singer first among things because I had
Okay.
solos in the church choir once they realized I had some talent. But I've always been musical. I've always had a very specific attachment to music itself. And getting to grow up with live music like that,
Hmm.
every Sunday and at choir rehearsals once a week as well, that was really foundational for me. It really is what led to me having the career that I have now, especially in the Doo Wop Project, because I learned how to hold harmonies at a very early age. So
Yeah.
that was very
Oh
foundational.
my God. And how? And how? So when was that moment where you knew you were ready to take off for New York City?
So after I graduated from USC, I was cast in a European tour of the musical Hair. And at that time, the cast was half comprised of Los Angeles-based talent and half comprised of New York-based talent. And so we toured 8 different countries in Europe. And I think it was after I got through our first couple weeks in Germany, traipsing through the snow and doing 8 shows a week. I was like, you know what? If I can get through this, I can actually go to New York. Being from San Diego, I didn't know anything about the weather and trying to get to do 8 shows a week in the weather. So I think once I got over that hurdle, I realized I could do it. And then having friends who were from New York that were in my cast at that time, so I had a little bit of a support system. I think that's really when I made the decision to finally, go for my biggest dreams, which was to make it onto Broadway, and that's what led to that.
And you did.
And I did.
What was your first show on Broadway?
My first show was Sister Act, the musical, as you can see.
Hey,
I have some things for you to look at as we
your
talk.
generations are
The
behind you.
generations, yeah. Sister Act, the musical, was my first show on Broadway, and it was an incredible experience. I was at the Broadway Theater. It was, it's called the Broadway Theater, and I got to work with one of my longtime idols, who was our producer, Miss Whoopi Goldberg.
Woo!
Produced the show. And I also got to work with some incredible people. Raven-Symoné came in and was the lead of our show, and she closed the show. We became good friends from that experience. And, I was really lucky that such a big hit show that now is being produced regionally all over the country was my intro into the Broadway world.
That is so fantastic, Charl. I mean, wow. So it was kind of easy for you, in other words.
Well, I wouldn't say it was easy. It took me a while to get to that point after moving to New York, auditions after auditions. And it's still not that easy, to be quite honest. This profession is
Yeah,
very difficult, and you really
yeah.
have to have tough skin and be able to accept a lot of rejection and denial. But I will say I did have it easier than some. In that I did, get into my first Broadway show within the first 5 years of me moving to New York and making my dreams come true, and it progressed very quickly from there. So I am very fortunate in my career as
Did
well.
we wait tables during that time?
Oh, yes. I waited many tables in LA before I moved to New York, as well as in New York City when I first got here. Not only did I wait tables at a restaurant, I did room service at a hotel, and I did a lot of cater waitering around
Mhm.
the city, which actually got me invited to a lot of different rooms I wouldn't have been invited to otherwise.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, so I paid my dues. I pounded the pavements to make it happen. And I feel like that was character building for me. So I'm actually grateful for that experience as well.
So tell me this, what was your in those early days, what was your worst day? I mean, we all have one.
I had a It's funny that you'd asked this. This memory just came to mind as you asked it. One of my worst
Mhm.
days was when I was being harassed basically by my manager at the restaurant because he wanted me to work a double shift, and I was trying to get out of there because I had to get to an audition. I will never forget. And he called me up on my cell phone the in the waiting room of the audition, and he was basically cussing me out for not being at work anymore. And I almost quit that day. I was like, I don't really need this job. This is not my dream. But it was at that moment I was like, this is insane that I'm being harassed by my manager to get back to this waiting tables job when I'm here, with this major opportunity in front of me and what I want to be doing with my life. And but this is what I have to do to pay my bills, at the time.
Yeah.
So it was at that moment where I really was faced with some challenges, but I didn't go to the waiting tables job, and I did the audition, of course.
And judging by your upbeat, positive attitude, I can only imagine you're the kind of kid that never gave up. I mean, along the way, no matter how tough the rejection got.
That's true. And looking back, I don't know how I did that or how I've been able to stay so positive because this
Mm,
industry is tough and it will beat you down. But
mhm.
I think I have an inner confidence that I am fortunate enough to have from my family who supports me, and I have a really big support system of friends and, fellow colleagues that really I can call at any time and they will give me words of encouragement. So I think
Yeah,
that's what keeps me going as well.
you are
Uh, but
blessed.
but
Yeah.
you got to stay positive and understand that what's for you is for you, and what's meant for
Mm,
you will not pass you by. I think that's one of
absolutely.
the sayings that I really hold on to, especially in some of those darker times when I didn't get that big show that I really, really wanted and felt like I deserved and had a great audition for, but just didn't get for any reason, which still happens as well.
I know because it is tough.
Uh,
Whether you're a classical pianist or whether you're trying to get into a chorus, in a
yeah.
Broadway show. I mean, it's all the same. And I think people underestimate. The normal person out there who's buying tickets for these shows really underestimates just how often we deal with rejection.
Yes, daily. I mean, I had 4 auditions last week that I didn't get. Just to bring it into perspective. It's,
Right.
the rejection actually doesn't end. But it's something you just have to deal with, and also have to understand that it's not about you personally.
Right.
Most of the time, if not all of the time, it has to do with things you can't change. You're too old or too young. They wanted
Yep.
to go with someone of a different ethnicity. They, you just didn't have the right energy for what they were looking for in that moment or what they had thought, or someone was already cast and you just went into the audition just because they were having auditions. Things like that happen as well.
Is that like the biggest, advice you would give to a young person coming into the whole scene?
Yeah, I think the biggest advice, there's two things. One is yes, have your own sense of self-worth because no one is going to value you as much as you do, and
Hmm.
don't let rejection be a meter of your worth. But also remain kind throughout it all because nobody wants to work with someone who is terrible to work with. And also, people who are a pleasure to work with, this has happened in my own career, they will call you to come do shows out of the blue without even auditioning. I've
Yeah,
had directors I've worked with call me to do shows without auditioning at this point in my career.
yeah.
The first show I got in New York City before Broadway was an off-Broadway show called Walmartopia. That was because a good friend of mine, now Tony Award winner Nikki M. James, they were looking for someone to swing in that production,
Hmm.
and she mentioned me to the director, and that's why he called me into audition, and I got the job. And that was my first show in New York City from a
Wow.
recommendation from a friend that I had worked with
Yeah.
who not only recognized my talent, but enjoyed working with me. So to be kind and be professional is my other big advice.
Oh, I've heard so many stories about being kind, or even when a superstar goes back into the room and says, "You've got to hear this person out here waiting, in the
Yeah.
wings." I mean, and there is that kind of generosity that still exists, and especially within the Broadway family.
Yes, we are one big family and community, and that is the biggest positive part of this career is that you get to work with so many kind and wonderful people. I think, as theater artists, oftentimes we are considered the redheaded stepchildren of the industry. We don't often make a lot of money like our cohorts in TV and film do.
Yeah.
We clearly are here for the love of the art. And so I think that because of that spirit,
Mhm.
we rally together when we need to. And we also do a lot to raise a lot of money for some really
You sure
um,
do.
great charities. Broadway Cares, Equity Fights AIDS
Oh,
always
yes.
has my full support and my giving of my talent whenever they ask me to. And I really appreciate that about our community as well.
Oh, I do too. It's always been there. It always will be there. It is
Yeah,
peculiar to the Broadway family, and I think it is one of the most outstanding attributes of what you all do. Because
absolutely.
this sense of family is profound. And I've
Yeah.
got, I've got to tell you right now, in the opera world, it's kind of every man for himself. There is not,
Mhm.
and really, some might argue with me, but I doubt it. There is not this intense familial kind of it's a realm. It's a
Yes.
real realm of
Yeah.
being. And during the AIDS crisis, during
Mhm.
COVID, I mean, I
Yeah.
remember speaking to several Broadway artists who were just trying to determine whether to, sell their house or wait it out, and hope for the
Yeah.
best without changing careers.
We get through some tough times together, and New Yorkers get a bad rap, but we actually
Yeah,
will help you out when you are in need. I think people mistake our shortness for rudeness when really it's just because time is money here in New York and we don't have time
totally.
to dilly-dally. But in times of need, we really do come together as a community, and I
Yeah,
think that's
it's
what
true.
makes it so special and unique here.
It is true. How did you hunker down through COVID, Charles?
I was here in New York City through it all. I had to buy this computer I'm on now so that I could try and have
Exactly.
auditions and I
Hmm.
and do some concerts from home. I did a lot of concerts from home. The Doo Wop Project, we
Brilliant.
did some concerts from theater and from a studio, just so we could bring some music to our audience who desperately needed
Mm.
that live entertainment, which they were missing. So yeah, I just, I what I did was I made myself have a routine, which consisted of waking up, going outside to work out somewhere,
Yeah.
safely. At the time, luckily, I lived right across the street from a park, which I had moved into the year before, so I didn't know I was going to need it as bad as I did. But I was very lucky I had a park I could go out and work out in, and then I would get on a Zoom with a couple friends or so, and try and just get to bed and rest and you know, see what I could do to try and further my career, which wasn't much at the time. But I did
Well,
what I could.
the
Yeah.
best part was everyone was in the same boat.
Hmm.
And again, we get back to that family. I mean, support.
Support.
Absolute support,
Support.
getting us through that, doing our own thing, refining our skills. Yeah, in a way, it was liberating.
In a
It's
way, it
it,
was liberating. I'm
you
glad you
know,
said that. It was.
it's a paradox
It
because
was yeah. You
we need to
couldn't
be
make a
on
living, but you
stage.
didn't have to worry about making a living. It was the
Exactly.
two things at once. There was some relief in the pressures of being rejected and going to auditions were off
Hmm.
for, a small amount of time. And you really just got to invest in yourself and in your friends you were able to see close by. A lot of my friends, the ones who were, had nowhere else to go, we would get together at least once a week because it was the springtime and into the summertime when it really first hit, and
Oh
so we
yeah,
could go out into the parks.
yeah.
We would often go to Central Park and sit around 6 feet away from each other, but
Yep.
at least be able to see each other in person and maybe have a meal and to have some FaceTime with another human being, which was that human connection was really important at that time.
Oh, I know, I know, I know. I remember doing the same thing. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, oh my gosh. So, okay, so here you are, Smokey Robinson
Yeah.
in Motown the musical. It was so awesome. I adore Smokey Robinson. I would fall at his feet if I met him. And I understand he did come up to you and say, "Hi, me."
He sure did. Listen, I can never forget the first. So a little backstory is I was
Yeah.
fortunate to be in the two pre-Broadway workshops of Motown the musical.
Huh.
The second of which we did this big press event announcing that the musical was coming to Broadway. Our producer was Mr. Barry Gordy himself, founder of Motown Records, and he is still best friends to this day. At 95 years old and Smokey at 85 years old, they're still best friends to this day. And Smokey came to that big press event in which press event I sang You Really Got a Hold on Me. Right before I went out on stage to sing You Really Got a Hold of Me, one of my cast members told me that Smokey was in the audience. So I was nervous. Luckily, in the way that
Sure.
the song was set up, I was supposed to be nervous in the scene leading up to the song, so I used that. But I got to go out, sing the song, and then we took a break right afterwards, and I went out into the audience where we were just sitting around. Smokey approached me, and he walks up to me. He goes, "Hey, me." And that was one of the best moments of my life. He, of course, then came to the Broadway opening. He came to the very next show. He came a few more times after that, one of which being his birthday, which he celebrates with his wife. They have the same birthday. We got them a couple cakes and celebrated their birthdays with them backstage after the show. I mean, it's incredible. And one more thing I'll say, not only that, after the show closed, Smokey Robinson was playing at the Del Mar Fair in San Diego, California. And I wasn't able to attend. He still got tickets for my family, my mother, my father, my aunt, my uncle.
Oh
They
my
all went to the
gosh.
show,
Oh
and
my
he brought
gosh.
them backstage afterwards and greeted them and talked with them for like an hour. That's how gracious of a man he is.
Oh
He's
my
the best.
gosh. Oh my gosh. I hope your father didn't give him any notes. Okay.
He did not. He knew better. I had a talk with him beforehand. I was like,
That is so he's just such a smooth man. I mean, the
Mhm.
voice is smooth, and that beautiful
Yeah.
movie that's been out about his relationship with Barry Gordy, which I haven't missed a moment of. Motown, I grew up with Motown. I grew up
Oh,
wanting, to be in Motown, literally.
yeah.
That
And so have
sound.
all of us. I mean, so have many generations since. It's like
Yeah.
it just sticks. It's great music that is timeless. And so I just can't believe that's been a major part of my career. I'm very fortunate.
Whoa. Was that an easy audition for Smokey?
Funnily enough, it was. Can you believe it? So I still to this day can't believe how easy it sort of was. Now, there's a caveat to this.
Okay.
So when I was auditioning for the workshops, the very first workshop,
Hmm.
I had one audition. I walked in. It was the director and Mr. Barry Gordy, and that's it. And the
Okay.
pianist. And Mr. Gordy looks at me and he goes, "Boy, I sure do hope you can sing." Because I looked like Smokey, especially, when I
Yeah.
don't have my
Yeah,
facial
yeah, yeah.
hair. So I was like, "Don't worry, sir, I can." And so I sang You Really Got a Hold on Me. Mr. Gordy got up from the table and shook my hand afterwards. And I knew I had gotten it. And then I got a call from my agent probably the next day that I had gotten the workshop.
Okay.
Now, I said there was a caveat because I did the two pre-Broadway workshops, and then they made me audition again before the Broadway production.
Okay.
And I had to go in twice to audition for that. Nerve-wracked that they were going to take this dream away from me, which they did
Oh.
not, luckily. But so that just goes to show you how fickle this industry can be. After having, done it twice and, I think pretty right for the role, they still made me re-audition when it came time to take it to Broadway.
But things were smooth, right?
Yeah.
Things were smooth. And all that choral training early on, which helped you access your falsetto, which is what you
Yeah.
needed to do,
Yeah.
smoky sound came into play.
That's right. That's right. It definitely, and also to sustain it 8 times a week on Broadway. It's my training really helped in that too. Being in the chorus, being in choirs, all growing up has really helped me and was foundational for me.
Charles, how do you guys take care of your voices doing 8 shows? It's not humanly possible, right?
I have a routine in which it's not really a routine. It's just that when I was in high school at the San Diego School of Creative and Performing Arts, my choir teacher, Miss Gail McKinney, I speak her name. I love her. She's wonderful, and she taught me one of the biggest lessons of my career, which was that when your body is warm, your voice is warm. And
Mhm.
so I've taken that to mean, for me personally, I go to the gym before every time I have to sing
Okay.
so that my voice is warm. And then, of course, I do my vocal warm-ups as well. But I do notice that once I have worked out for a half an hour or an hour, that I'm ready to sing because my instrument is going. So that's the key to my success. Now, when it comes to doing 8 shows a week and having vocal health, it's really just about not over speaking and not being in loud rooms after the
Right.
show,
Hmm. Agreed.
and being conscious of where you place your voice when you are speaking. Sometimes you have to place it a little higher so it's healthier and not rubbing on your cords, things like that.
Hmm.
Because I tell you what, 8 shows a week, especially when you're in the preview process and you also have rehearsals 5 days a
Hmm.
week on
Hmm.
top of the 8 shows, it ain't
Exhausting.
easy. It
No,
ain't easy. But I pride
agreed.
myself on not calling out.
Wow.
I very rarely miss a show. And so you also have to eat well and make sure you maintain your physical health. I try and have a very strict diet when I'm doing a show 8 times a week.
Wow.
You have to limit how much you talk outside of the show, like I just said.
Hmm.
And it's just about general health. You really have to remain healthy in general.
But then there is that odd virus that sweeps through the cast.
Through the cast at all times, yes. And so then that's when your technique comes into play and you have to know how to sing around what's going on in the back of your throat.
I just did an interview with the great chanteuse Uta Lemper, and
Mhm.
she and I were talking about the same situation. And she is such a vocal strategist. She was being so raw and honest about the amount of steroids she had to take, and
Oh yeah.
I mean, and literally singing through illness all the time.
I'll let you in on something. I literally just got back from the doctor last night and I was prescribed some steroids. I haven't started them yet, but I have this seasonal thing that's going on here in New York. Every time the seasons change, something happens to me. It's, allergies or whatever. But we just had shows all this past weekend. I was touring
Hmm.
with the Doo Wop Project, and I had to use my technique to get around what was the gunk in the back of my throat. Um, and that's just it. It's unavoidable. A couple of the
Yep.
guys were sick. We're in cars for hours on end. We're
Hmm.
backstage together. We're just humans. You can't wear a mask enough to
I
stop this
know.
from spreading.
Oh,
And
I
there's
know.
no way to stop it. So you just have to know how to navigate around it. It's no fun. This past weekend was no fun, but you do what you got to do to get the job done.
Yeah, you have to find a way to deal with that kind of anxiety of worrying about the voice, don't you? I
Yes,
mean, this is something
the
I talk about a
anxiety.
lot because that will just grip you right here. And
That's right.
when you say it's no fun, that I know what you're talking about. We
Yeah.
have that fear factor when we're feeling great and everything's going well and the tour
Yeah,
is ideal. But
yeah,
it's a
but
tour and it's long and it's arduous.
it's arduous, and our voice is a part of our identity.
Oh,
It's how we make our money. It's how we identify as
that's right.
vocalists. And so, for that one thing to be gone, I mean, all of a sudden you're in a bad mood. You just want to get back to the hotel room and get to sleep. It's a challenge, but we've all been there. We'll be there again because, you know, AI cannot do what we do, which is stand up in front of an audience with a beating heart and perform live. And so
Mhm.
that is the magic of being a human and a human vocalist. And
Oh,
so I honor that, every time I am able to step on a stage and pick up a microphone.
that's so beautifully said. That's so beautifully said, Charl Brown. Wow. Well, before we get to the Doo Wop Project, I just want to ask,
Hmm.
what was the Tony Awards like when you have been nominated and you're sitting there? I mean, I guess you're taking Pepsid all the time.
Yeah, yes. Another tool for singers, the acid reflux. We didn't talk about that, but yes.
Totally. Totally.
Um, I will say this, and this is not to be Pollyanna about it all, but honestly, when they read my category and then did not read my name to win, I have never felt more accomplished in my life because I guess the anxiety was gone, but when they say it's an honor just to be nominated,
Mm-hmm.
that was the moment I felt the honor to
Mm-hmm.
just be nominated because only one of us was going to win. There's five names that they called in the nominations, and only one of us was going to win. And so to sit there and forevermore until I'm a Tony winner, but for now, while I have a Tony nominee, forevermore, at least that part will be attached to my name. And I think that's when it really sunk in for me that it didn't matter if I won or lost. I was officially a part of this community and was honored by my peers that night. And that's how it felt,
Mm,
truly. Going into it, there was a lot of anxiety. But my
mm,
mother, who was there, was more nervous than I was. She could barely contain herself because they thought I was going to win, but of course they did. They're my parents.
oh, your mom needed to keep you grounded.
Yeah. Yep.
That is amazing. I'm sure you're going to have another crack at this, and I'm sure it will come soon, and I really hope it does.
Thank you.
If you don't take off into the realm of film and Hollywood, because I know you're already doing your
Oh yes.
parts in television.
Correct. Yes.
Very
And
exciting.
listen, I am the type of person who would love to do both. My dream is to be filming a TV show all day and going to do my Broadway show at night. That's actually what I'm manifesting and putting out there into the universe is to be on a hit TV show and also have a theater out to go and do my show at night.
Okay, so when that happens, we will have another talk
Yes.
about stamina.
Yeah. Please have me back at that point. I will have to learn a new way of stamina because I won't be able to just be silent all day like I typically am for a show.
Totally. Yeah, after the 14th take of one shouting scene. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It do,
Right.
you do love the whole television though kind of process. You love the filming the
I do. I love to be on set. I love to be creative.
hmm
And the thing that TV and film gives you is the ability to journey with your character beyond just the one script. You really get to,
Yeah,
live with your character if you're lucky for a while and through many years and different iterations of their life. So I really look forward to having something like that to work on. But I just enjoy being with other actors and other performers, other singers, vocalists, dancers. I really enjoy the community of it all. So being on set is a big high for me. I
I
love
can
it.
see that. I can see that. You're one of those rare people, Charles, that really, really does embrace family. I mean, you
Yeah.
knew it when you were a kid and you're still
Yeah,
living it.
it's
And
been
that
instilled in me from
it's
an early age. Yeah.
it's a beautiful thing. Oh God, is it a beautiful thing. Now talk to me about the genesis of the Doo Wop Project.
Yes. So, the Doo Wop Project was started backstage at the August Wilson Theater when we were all doing Jersey Boys there. And at the time, we just thought we would find something to make ends meet, a little side job that we can do,
Hmm. Mm-hmm.
when the show were to close or if any of us were to leave the show. We just wanted to
Yeah.
have something that we could rely on, in the interim between gigs.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, there was only like, five or six private parties, some performing arts centers here and there through the year. We've now grown to 85 or more shows a year. We've been touring for over the past 15 years.
What?
Um, 15 years we've been on the road together. Believe it or not, we just released our fifth album. And it is the little engine that could. None of us would have foreseen when this all started that we'd still be here singing this great music and selling out houses all across the nation and
Yeah.
overseas. It truly is this gift that keeps on giving that we did not see coming.
I can't believe the arduousness of the tour, first of all. I've
Yeah.
looked at your tour. It's
Yeah.
absolutely insane.
It's insane.
Are you guys just
Sometimes
like
more
on the
insane.
bus and you're doing your thing?
Believe it or not, we drive ourselves. It is the five of us in a minivan. Either Dominic Nolfi or myself, we will drive. We just came back from one this past weekend where we just yesterday got back from a 5 hour drive from Maine. Um, so it's the five of us in a minivan driving from place to place, luckily getting hotel rooms. So the tour bus thing has been offered to us, but we said no because at the end of the day, we need to get to a hotel room and be able to close the door
Right, right. And
and
kind
be
of
away
like
from each
forget
other.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, we're all grown men now, and so we really just we know our limits. A few hours, multiple hours in the car together is pretty much all we can actually take. But we're a brotherhood, and we have a great time, and we have some really, really incredible memories together as a group. So
Well,
I'm very fortunate that we've gotten to be together for this long and gotten to bring this music to so many different people all across the world.
I'm just gobsmacked, as the English say. I mean, you're so happy about things, and I'm only presuming all the rest of your partners in the Doo Wop Project are as well. And
Yes.
you've had the backing of NPR. You've just done
Mhm.
this Carnegie Hall concert, I believe.
Oh, we just did Sony Hall. Sony Hall
Sony
here in New
Hall,
York.
Sony Hall.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Wow. Wow. And your audiences, what have they been like? I mean, I'm only imagining that everybody's letting their hair down and kicking up the heat.
Yeah. I'm seeing people who are retired living their high school lives out
Yeah.
again. They're
Yeah.
getting up and dancing, and they tell us this after the show. They're like, "You brought back memories. I felt like I was 16 again," and that is our goal.
Hmm.
And we like to say we're saving doo-wop. Our mission is to save doo-wop, and
Yeah. Yeah.
what we mean by that, though, is to make sure that this really unique and incredible form of music doesn't go away because it's so truly American and it's
Hmm.
so truly universal. It's messages of love everyone can relate to. And the other thing that I love about our audiences is you can find um, a grandmother and her daughter
Hmm.
and her son and his kids. You can see four generations of one family coming to see the same group in one night at one concert. That's
So
sort of
beautiful.
unheard of to see that many generations brought together. And a lot of the kids, they'll come through the autograph line afterwards and they'll be like, we didn't know what to expect, but we loved it, you know? And
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
and they're now not only fans of doo-wop, but fans of live music, which is really important. I think music
Mm,
is a universal thing that all of us as humans we share. It
yes.
speaks to us on a cellular level, and it's really important that we don't forget, especially in this new age where we're, behind screens all day, that it's really important to come together and to be amongst other beating hearts in the same venue and having the same experience for a couple hours together, you know
So true.
the same time. It's something that can't be replaced by the screens.
Oh my God, you have just stolen my phrase on a cellular level.
A cellular level.
How music affects us. But that's why you're so happy and good things keep happening to you and you know your
Yeah,
family and you know who you are.
I know who I am, and I will always say having an education in music is the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Oh,
Did
thank
it.
you so much. Oh my God, what a
Mhm.
diplomat you are for the arts. And do we need it right now, Charles?
We need it more than ever right now. Just the simple idea of understanding each other's humanity and having empathy for one another.
Hmm.
I think that when you, for whatever reason, when you have an education in music and you have to harmonize with other people or make music with other people,
Yeah,
you naturally come together and have this underlying need and desire to bring your humanity together. And that's what builds strong communities,
it's
you
true.
know?
That's what choruses were all about.
That's what it's all about.
Walking to the river and singing at the river. I mean,
Mhm.
there's this sense of communion in music making, which is so profound. And for those out there listening who you're thinking about, dipping your toe into a choral group or auditioning for some sort of, I don't know, community theater, right,
Yeah,
Cheryl? I mean, do
yeah.
it.
Do
Do
it.
it.
Please do
Why
it. Even if you
would
don't
you
have
not?
ambitions of being a professional singer, it's just really great. There's so many, not-for-profit choirs in every
Mhm.
community, in every city that are people just come together for the love of it. And it
That's right.
really, you'll be surprised how much joy it can bring to your life.
Yeah.
There's something magical and something universal about making music together that
Yeah.
is unmatched.
Yeah. No, there's
Mhm.
no question. So beautifully said. And I would expect that from you being this great diplomat of the arts. You know, Charles, you're amazing. I mean, you are incredible. You're a
Thank
prince. You're a prince amongst men. You really are.
Very
But
nice of you.
but
Thank
I
you.
knew that when I saw little snippets of you and I heard you sing, and I'm like, okay, this is the only guy who could play Smokey Robinson. And please,
Oh,
Berry Gordy. I mean,
yeah.
So look, just for fun, let's say you can have dinner with anyone who has passed from this earth. Okay?
Oh, okay. No longer
One
living. Okay.
one night, one night. Now, I asked this question of many, and
Yeah.
so many people have said, okay, can I have a big table with like 10 people there? I'm like, sure. Because, for me, maybe I'd have one person, but for you, you might have, you know, more. Who would it be that you would love
Okay.
to commune with over a dinner?
Well, since I can have more than one,
Hmm.
I will start with Dr. King, Martin
Yeah,
Luther King Jr. Would love
wonderful.
that. Michael Jackson would
Oh,
be another. I think that Whitney Houston would be so much fun. I think we'd have the best time. Um,
wow.
those are the top three that come to mind. I also feel like I would want to talk to Abraham Lincoln,
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and get some perspective on that time. And then
And
uh,
now, I'd love to see his perspective on now.
now, right, yeah, his perspective now as well. And listen, did, no matter what your beliefs are, I would I would love to have dinner with Jesus. And just to understand what it has, what it was like to be revered in that way and to be walking on this earth and to go through the things that he went through. Now, one of the, most told stories of all time, and to
Yeah,
to have dinner with the person who is at the center of that story, I think would be quite fascinating, don't you? I mean,
yeah,
no matter,
yeah,
if you're
yeah.
Jewish or Hindu or whatever your beliefs
That's
may
right.
be, to talk to this person who everyone has an opinion about, I think would be really
Yeah.
exciting.
And just to have the unconditional love that he
Right.
would spread amongst all the people you have mentioned who are actually leaders.
Yes.
It's interesting. I would adore sitting with Michael Jackson. I would
Yeah.
adore talking to him.
Yeah, I think it would be so interesting because he was also really funny from what I have gathered from his interviews. I think he'd be a really good time.
Oh my gosh, what a group you put together. That's really profound. Wow, that would be one long and interesting dinner I'd like to
Wouldn't it?
be.
Yeah, and we'd eat well.
I love it. I think there'd be some singing, even though I don't know if Lincoln would be joining in. I don't see him as a natural, but you
No,
never know.
maybe some percussion. I don't know.
And then, Charl Brown, I've got to ask you my signature question that I ask of everyone. And that is if there is one word or phrase that defines who you are, and don't think too much on this one, just go with comes to your mind. It's always fascinating.
Gratitude.
Oh,
I'm very gracious that I get to do what I love for a living. And I've been doing this for a very long time now. I haven't waited tables in a very long time.
yeah.
And I get to tour and make music. I get to be on the Broadway stage and act and sing and dance. I get to do all the things that I love to do, and I've been fortunate enough to make a living at it. So gratitude has to be the singular word that I have for all of it.
Oh, that's so exciting. That is so you. I think that should probably be your middle name.
All right, I'll scratch off the Eugene. It'll be gratitude.
Ask your mom for permission first, but if
Yes,
you're
she'll
listening,
kind of be mad because Eugene is sort of named after her. Her name is Jean, but I think she'd understand. Maybe I can have two middle names. That's allowed.
I love that. And I love hearing you laugh, and I can hear the singer in you. Is there
Oh,
is
yeah.
is there a little bit of a song you can grace us with before you go?
Woo, okay. Like I
I
said, I'm
know
drifting over
steroids and
something,
all,
but
steroids and yeah,
yeah.
just a little bit of something.
Okay, so something off of our new album, Echoes of the Street by the Doo Wop Project,
Okay,
available anywhere you get your music.
okay.
Um, I've got sunshine on a cloudy day. When it's cold outside, I've got the month of May. I guess you'd say, what can make me feel this way? My girl, talking about my girl, my girl. Ooh, ooh.
I love it. Bravo. Bravo.
Ooh, no,
Fantastic.
you got me on not my best day, but that's the best I could do.
Hey, if that's the best you can do, we are looking forward to a lot of fantastic shows out there in 25, 26 on the Doo Wop Project. And
Yes.
with Charl Brown gracing us with his fantastic voice and all the members of the Doo Wop Project. And, you know, Charl, I have this theory, and I'm a big fan of Turner Classic Movies. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
always say when I go to the festival, I watch old films and I love looking back because I think we find the best part of ourselves. And
Yeah.
I think with what you're doing with the Doo Wop Project is the same kind of thing. And you're bringing it alive to, as you said, several generations of new listeners. And this is how we're going to keep music and the arts alive and happy and rich in the face of an uncertain world.
Yes. I love that
And
perspective. You're
and
right.
it's the only way.
It really is the only way.
It's the only way.
Yes.
So let's all look back, everyone, with
Yes.
the Doo Wop Project. 5 albums, right? Five.
5 albums.
Oh my gosh, I'm way behind. So I've got to make up for this.
Yes, please do.
I can't wait to catch one of your shows. I saw that you'll be in Carmel, California at some point.
Yes.
Carmel is a
We would
favorite
love to
point
have
for
you.
me.
Please. Well, yes, you'll be my guest.
Oh
Please
my
come.
God, I'd
Come
love
see us.
it.
Yeah. My
I would
pleasure.
love it. I'd come up and I would embrace Smokey Robinson himself
Yes.
in the guise of Charl Brown. And
Yeah.
I want all my listeners out there to go out and find the Doo Wop Project online.
Yeah.
And all the albums are out there. They're performing in a town near you. I can tell you
Yes.
because they're everywhere and they're driving. You've got to go out
It's
and hear them because they're putting all that effort into it.
a lot of effort. Yeah. They can find our full tour schedule at thedoowopproject.com.
And Charles, I have to say thank you for being a
Thank you.
prince, and thank you for saying gratitude,
Yeah.
as your word. And I look forward to seeing you at the Oscars someday soon.
Amen. We'll put that out to the universe. You heard it here, everyone.
Let's put it out there.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much for being on
Thank
center
you.
stage.
This has
I've
been a
loved it.
pleasure. Thank you so much.
It's been great fun. And I will support you from now forever. And we'll see
I
each other.
appreciate it.
We'll see each other in Hollywood, I'm sure.
Yes.
To all my listeners out there, I want you to seek out Center Stage with Pamela Kuhn and see some of the great interviews I've done over the last 11
Wow.
years. And the new podcast is out, and Charl Brown will be right up there as one of the first in November. And I'm very excited about that. And you can also find me at WGCH Talk Radio in Greenwich, Connecticut. So, once again, thank you, Charl Brown. Good luck
Thank you.
and bravo. And to all my listeners, stay safe out there. This is Pamela Kuhn, and the curtain is now down on Center Stage.